Welcome back at 8:43. Household debt is at an all-time high, and with rising delinquencies, more people are feeling the financial pressure. With us this morning is Scott Gwatney with Burns Financial to help us understand factors that could be affecting your debt and steps you can take to try to improve your situation. Scott, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's talk about the main contributing factors to people seeing this increase in debt, and also talk about how higher interest rates are factoring into that problem as well.
Absolutely, and you know, it's very common that, you know, through the pandemic, people, you know, had to turn to credit cards, and that's really the biggest part of increased debt. We've seen increases in the mortgage, you know, for new home purchases, but credit card debt is fluctuating. So the average rate right now is 23%, which if you had a credit card that was around 18 or 19 when you first, you know, started accumulating debt, now 23 is, you know, a lot more and a lot harder. And then, you know, with potential tariffs coming in, there's more expenses on the timeline. So, you know, increased debt, increased interest rates combined with potentially more expensive goods, that's something that, you know, we want to talk to clients about and look at.
So I know people at home are thinking, then what do I do? I can't control the interest rate on the credit cards that are already high, and I'm already trying to pay those balances down. What can people attempt to do to try to tackle it, or just bring it down a little bit?
No, absolutely.
That does help if you bring it down a bit.
It does. An attempt is a great word. I tell everyone, and everyone usually thinks it's locked in, call the credit card companies. Ask them to negotiate that rate. Tell them, hey, look, let's work on a payment plan, maybe a reduced rate. They're always open, and the worst case they can do is tell you no. And really dive into that credit card too, and look at certain recurring fees that may be still accumulating on there. Maybe you signed up for a streaming service for a TV series or a movie 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago and just forgot to cancel it. So really sit down and put a budget together and kind of go through it with a fine-tooth comb to see what's in there.
I love that you said that, giving people this idea to contact your credit card company, because maybe people didn't even realize that was an option.
Right.
To negotiate an interest rate or a payment plan
Right.
out. That probably gave someone a huge bit of relief there. Or an idea at least. We love that you shared that with us. And of course, we're in the kind of back end of tax season. April 15th is most people's tax deadline. What should people do if they've already filed or they're in the process and it's looking like they're going to owe money this year?
If they're going to owe money, it's same as contacting the credit card company. Contact the IRS. Give them a call and say, hey, look, you know, instead of this huge burden that you may be faced with, see about stretching that out over a certain time period, maybe a few months, maybe, you know, the next year or two, whatever their plan is. They're usually willing to work with you because they want to make sure they get their money as well. And if you have a surplus by some means, you know, sometimes it's not always free money. Maybe think about, hey, here's my needs, and maybe throw some of that towards that credit card debt that's, you know, continuing to accumulate on you.
But the key takeaway here is attempt it, try.
Yeah, the worst case thing to do is tell you no.
I love that. Just try. Just try.
Give it a shot.
Everyone should feel better after that. Just try, and the worst thing they can do is tell you no, and then just come up with a different plan.
Yeah, plan B.
But you got to try something at this point. Well, Scott, I think that really helped a lot of people this morning, especially with, as you mentioned, we talked about those high interest rates that so many people are dealing with, especially on credit cards post the pandemic. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.